In this tutorial, I am going to walk you through my color and cut makeover. I know it's been a little minute since you all have seen me. I am still working on my product line, among other things, and I will have updates soon, so please make sure that you are subscribed here with notifications turned on and over at MoKnowsHair.com. In my last couple videos I shared, my hair was tailbone length, and that was cute and all, but I decided to cut some of it in January of this year because it was just so much. I was at all one length and I missed having more movement and volume. So in this time-lapse video that you're watching right now, I cut about 6 inches to take me up to waist length and removed another 2 to 4 inches all around to create long layers. I haven't touched up this color since September of last year, so I have quite a chunk of new growth, but I'm just gonna leave it because I want to retone overall. Before using something new, you should always do a test patch at least 24 hours before on a piece of hair and dab behind the ear to make sure, 1, that the color will process correctly, and 2, that you don't have any adverse skin reactions. My test strand is giving the tone I want, so I'm going to proceed to the rest of my hair. To prepare for color, I clarified and deep treated my hair a couple days ago and didn't use any styling products, just some Aveda damage control afterwards. It helps color absorb more evenly if you don't have product buildup in the way. I am making sections so I can work faster on the application and lining my perimeter with Aveda pomade to prevent my skin from absorbing color. The Ion Demi 6RV I used to use faithfully back in the day has apparently been discontinued. I haven't seen any Ion Demi Reds available since before the pandemic, so after looking around at a few other brands, I decided on Wella Color Charm Demi Permanent Color. Based on the ingredients and Wella's reputation as a really good salon brand, I'm sure this will be a good substitute. Per the instructions, I am using a 1-to-2 mix ratio and will apply from roots to ends. Because Demi Permanent Color is ammonia-free, it does not lift. It will only tone, so I know my roots are still going to stay darker, but I'm cool with the shadow root look. If you have really dark hair, especially if you have low porosity, you would have to pre-lift or use permanent color with high lift developer in order to get a color like this to actually show up. I would highly recommend seeing a stylist for color consultation to evaluate the best way to get the color you want and to make sure that your hair is in good health to withstand that process. The last thing you want to do is make a mistake with chemical processing because fixing it is not only costly, but it's damaging depending on what's happened and what needs to be done. And as always, stay away from box color. Whether you try and tackle color yourself or see a professional, I have several videos with more in-depth information on color processing and care to help you understand and make a good choice. I'm going to link those below this video for you. After getting all the color applied, I am going to cover with a plastic cap to help keep the scalp heat in for 20 minutes, and then I'm going to rinse this out with lukewarm water until the water starts to run clear. Then I will proceed to shampoo with Ion Color Defense and treat with Ion After Color Sealant, and then deep condition. I am due for a trim, so I am going to clean up the haircut I did in January. I'm only showing you all parts of this process because I don't recommend you all cutting your own hair at home if you aren't formally trained. Of course, you'll do what you want, but I don't want to be culpable to you lopsiding your hair. I would suggest that you find a stylist. There are some things you can do to help your salon experience be better. Number 1, show pictures of your hair when you freshly styled it so the stylist can see what you look like with your current shape, and you can explain based on your hair what you would like to see different. When you go to the salon, you're not arriving done up. Your hair is in a ponytail under a ball cap or something, so showing that stylist what your hair looks like when you freshly styled it is helpful. Number 2, make sure you have photos of hair shapes and cuts you like of other people with similar hair types to yours. This will help you and your stylist get on the same page and allow them to manage your expectations if they are not aligned with what you want. And last, make sure you scope out that stylist's work on social media before going. Now that could sound like a duh, Mo, of course I would do that. But something you need to pay attention to, if you are adamant that you want your hair cut curly and you only see silk presses on their timeline, don't go in there acting a fool with that stylist. You cannot ask someone to do a service that is not in their offerings, or they don't feel that they can do that way to the best of their ability. If you want a curly cut, you gotta find someone who does that. Here are a few common haircuts that I feel are good, workable shapes that work well with lots of different textures. Here are some of the things that you can use as a baseline to have good conversation with a stylist for the cut that you want. The short taper or pixie cut is a great way to start or restart a curl health journey, and it's also just a cute style option for a shortcut. Keeping some length in the top of a taper cut can give a little more style flexibility, and this type of cut looks good on all textures and face shapes. Growing out from a taper requires stages of cuts. This is a great intermediate option for growing out a taper cut, allowing the top and sides to grow out and be connected to the hair in the nape that is being kept shorter on the grow out so you don't end up with a mullet. Over the course of a year and a half, I was able to take this client from a tapered cut all the way back to the shoulder, just modifying the cut along the way. Square layers are really dynamic in that they keep the weight of the shape in the crown and the sides with a 45-degree angle versus a traditional 90-degree layer, which produces a round shape. A one-length square cut will look like this when it's straight, but it will be round when it's curly, especially if you have a lot of shrinkage. So this is a very beautiful way to have shape options if you like to go between the two. And this cut is pretty foolproof for any stylist to do. It's really hard to mess this one up. The angled bob is a classic, sassy, always fly cut. It gives lots of movement and volume with more dramatic, over-directed 45-degree layers up the back, making it really easy to style because it's always going to fall in that stacked, rounded shape. This is a standard all-around 90-degree layered cut with a front fringe, or bang as most refer to it. Face framing with the fringe adds volume and can make the front of your hair appear fuller, especially if you have low density or any type of damage or breakage in the front of your head. The key to this cut is that square perimeter, keeping hair around the ears longer so that profile is connected to the back. All of these ladies have different hair types and textures, and this cut works on all of them. This is the longer version of that previous cut without fringe. This is a classic cut. It's versatile. It retains more length than volume. Squaring the perimeter means that the hair in the nape and around the ears is being cut straight across, connected versus rounded out in the back. This makes the hair look fuller and more balanced from a profile view. Cutting a U shape in the back usually ends up looking like a mullet once you go back to curly. Now I'm going to style my hair in a wash and go, and I'm going to use Camille Rose Naturals Aloe Whip Butter Gel and then layer the Dew Styling Foam on top. This Camille Rose product is heavier than the TGIN leave-in I shared in my last wash and go update video, so it will keep my curls more defined and hydrated longer, and I won't have to go back in and reapply that foam styler after drying like I was doing before, because I'm just going to let the volume take over. This foam is very defining, and it seemingly works well layered with other products as far as I've seen. If you desire more day one kind of volume, you can definitely use this foam by itself. I just like to start off neat and defined because my hair is going to naturally swell over the week. After all of my curls are set, I am going to go under the hooded dryer. If you are air drying and that works for you, that's fine. Just don't go to bed with wet hair because that can cause bacteria and scalp fungus to form. But if you are air drying and your outcome is undesirable, it's frizzy, it's mushy, sit under a dryer. Getting your hair dry quickly with heat keeps the products from being subjected to humidity in the air around you, allowing them to actually set. Not to mention, you're going to get back hours of your time. Also, sitting under a dryer will help retain the elongation you see when your hair is wet instead of tugging, pulling, and banding, causing breakage after it's dry. Here is my final result after 50 minutes under the hooded dryer. I am just going to apply some silk oil, tie it up for bed, and also while working out. And by the time I get to day 4, it looks like this. I'm just going to add some Mielle Organics Edge Gel, but other than that, no re-wetting or additional styling products applied to the curls. In another 3 days, it'll be wash day again. I hope that this inspires you to consider a style refresh of your own this spring and that you learned something that you can take with you on your healthy hair journey. You can find links to related tutorials and everything used in this video in the About section below or by visiting MoKnowsHair.com.